Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and boys and girls, and all my friends and family, and all my friends over in Denmark and around the world. Welcome to another program here at Seed Studios. I have a very special guest in the studio tonight, my mate Matt. Welcome to Seed Studios, Matty.
Thank you very much, Pete. Good to see you again.
Matt is also affectionately known as the Ox. You know why? Because he's rock solid. So, yeah. Matt and I have been playing together in a band, in different bands for about a couple of years. We met each other in 2017, yes, at Weekend Warriors.
Yep, absolutely.
And we've remained friends and stayed friends for a very long time. We were in a band called Grunge-X.
Yes.
And speaking of Grunge-X, tonight we have a very special guest, Mr. Jim from I'm Just a Man. I've got an interview with him. So without further ado, I will play this interview for you. Here it is, Mr. Jim Skilovides with I'm Just a Man. Good evening, friends and family. Welcome to tonight's program, another program from Seed Studios. Tonight, I have a very, very special guest, Mr. Jim Skilovides, who's been a mate of mine for a few years. We were in a band together, and we were called Grunge-X for about 2 years. Is that right, Jim?
That is correct.
Almost 2 years. And
yes, it was.
We've remained good friends. Jim is the head founder of a men's mental health program called I'm Just a Man. And he has run gala dinners for the last 5 years. He's about to do his 5th one. This year and last year was a virtual program because of COVID and all the struggles we've had with that. But I'll hand it over to you, Jim. Tell us a little bit more about yourself. Tell us who you are, and tell us about your fundraising, and tell us what you've been doing with your journey.
Sure, mate, and feel free, obviously, to step in, Pete.
I will,
because you've got a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff about me.
I will, buddy.
I'll probably start back. We were in a band together. We actually 2 bands really. We had a band that we were part of in Weekend Warrior. I can't remember what was the name of the band, Pete, that we were in.
That was Pistol and the Gang, I think. Yeah, I came
Pistol
up with that.
Pistol and the Gang. That's right. There you go. And that's obviously named after Pete. Yeah, obviously the who actually we were rehearsing in your studio, as well as near the keyboard corner out in
Baronia.
It was Baronia, that's right. So we're in a band there together, and then sometime after that, I remember approaching Pete and saying, I remember it would have been, maybe it was on our day of our gig. And it was actually, I remember that day, it was all the bands were playing quite high performance. It was quite a good performance from all the bands. But I'd said to you I wanted to do some recordings. I had a vision there to do some recordings with kind of music around male artists that had passed away from either suicide or mental health. Yeah. So with obviously a strong focus or concept around In Excess, and it was very mixed. It wasn't just we certainly wasn't a tribute act, as you know. We did our own versions of these things, and the name Grunge-X, and I really acknowledge Pete and Maddie, who kind of allowed me to sort of take reins, was a collection of, I think, 5 or 6 bands, and we took the lettering of all the bands to come up with Grunge-X, and the word grunge means dirty, and it was like, well, how can we not make mental health a dirty word? Like mental health is like a dirty word, don't talk about it. So it was a kind of a bit of a cheek on that. How I sort of got into music was very late in my life, I guess, but I did a program called Weekend Warrior in 2016, which I actually ended up meeting you the year after. It was 2017. Yeah. So I've known you now for almost 4 years, Pete. It's incredible, yeah?
Wow, where's those 4 years going, buddy?
It's 4 years, mate. Honestly, it's 4 years. And we've recorded, actually with Pete, we actually have recorded, I dare say,
5 songs.
I think 4 songs, and then maybe 5, sorry.
5, yeah.
And then another couple in the pipework still. Yeah. So certainly not one of those things that it's come to an end. It's on pause because it's, like I said, Pete allowed me to really with the boys, you know, just explore this space, and it's certainly been a lot of fun, right?
Yeah.
But how I got into the space, really, if I look back in 2014, it's almost 7 years now. You know, when I met you, it was at the 3-year mark, and basically my chiropractic clinic burnt down in Port Melbourne. And you've been there, as you know, Pete. At the time, it's obviously that's no longer burnt.
We,
It's
we
now.
shot a film clip there as well.
We certainly did shoot "We Are the Grunge X" song there. Amazing, good memories. And basically, I discovered mental health, I think, over the following couple of years, especially the following day. You know, and I talk about how I had an argument. Well, I feel I called it an argument with God, and it was really not understanding in that moment of craze. How is it that I had my own plan in life? And I kind of understand why now, but I was telling this to Anna, the lady that I run it with. I said, I waited 10 years to move into my own clinic.
Yeah.
Because I had a previous clinic in South Melbourne with an ex-business partner. And it was that time that we separated. And I'm like, I'm going to do my own thing my way, and I'm going to make the place beautiful.
Yeah.
And up until November 2014, then we were struck by what I call fate now. Well, really, you know, God's plan shifted. And it was downlight that burnt the roof and the whole clinic, you know, and it was decimated.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think I showed you, we did a clip right outside where I had that crazy thinking in my head. And it was really, when I think back, it was not to continue around anymore. I wanted to leave the planet.
Yeah.
And, you know, I know life's about, you know, sometimes you get tempted to go down the negative and demonic paths, but I certainly got struck hard in that moment. And I realized that human side later on, within 2 years, that just because I'm someone that's, you know, personal development and, you know, having read everything from, you know, the New Testament to Dr. John DeMartini, Jordan Peterson, it doesn't matter what you read, I'm still a human in the experience. And I discovered a space because I've had suicide on my father's side. And I went, hang on. I not made fun of it, but I thought, you know, what was wrong with these people? Now I was like, hang on, this is a real thing. And somehow I turned to music because, you know, before realizing we're doing a gala, and it was really the passing of Chris Cornell and Chester Bennington. That was within that time when we met, just before we met, actually.
Yeah.
It was a very big year, 2017. I just met Kirk Pengilly from In Excess.
Right.
And I had a vision, like I'd heard the song I'm Just a Man by In Excess, and it was Michael being very vulnerable and open.
Yeah.
And I thought that's the name of the foundation. So we recorded it as well. So
I'd never heard those songs prior to meeting you, because I like In Excess, but I never knew any of the early stuff. And you introduced me to a lot of stuff. And getting back to what you were talking about, your with the vision, it was really your vision and with the whole Grunge X thing, and we were just really coming along for the ride. And it was a great time, and we had so much fun, and still, you know, to this day, great memories. I'll never forget the times we've had. You know, we had our challenges, but we made it through. Yes, we certainly did. You know, and we're still here today. We're still mates, and
challenges. It's at the end of the day, it's about common values, and I think what the band, not only this band, like I've seen it in other bands, like I had it in another band, like here I am, we're talking about mental health and music, and whatever those challenges are, we're experiencing in the band. That's what it was.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I realized myself, like I kind of took charge, as you know what I want. You know, I had a vision, you know what I mean, with the music, which was hand in hand with the kind of gala, about creating something that was unique and different. And I feel that still was achieved. I mean, I used that song, Diamonds and Rust, Pete, to apply and get an audition for The Voice. So, and I did successfully. So I didn't get anywhere when I got there, but, you know, I used it because I wanted to share the story of I'm Just a Man within the music industry. And, you know, people do listen because it's like I brought two worlds together. That's how I felt.
Yeah, right.
You know, why hasn't someone else done this? And, you know, here we are 5 years down, I've met so many people in the AFL industry. I've met some incredible musicians. Like I interviewed Andrew Farris last year. That's pretty cool. I felt, I met him.
Yeah.
Had Tina Hutchins, had Michael Hutchins' sister, but it wasn't about who's famous there. It was about, at the end of the day, these are human beings with stories.
Yeah.
And, one of the things that I've seen I'm Just a Man expand into now, there's still that massive focus on men's mental health, but I feel like it's expanding now where we're bringing in the women as well. It's more about that collaboration between men and women side by side. So
right.
It's been very special in that regards. And, people that come along, we make the event fun in person. We've run 3 gala events, which I know we attend one and we performed. Actually, it was more you guys with, is it Deep? He performed, did a great job.
Yeah.
Really, I sincerely did a great job. And, it's about creating that awareness of allowing the open vulnerability. Like, because we don't allow guys to wear shirts and ties, that whole corporate thing, it was like, no, wear your rock t-shirt with your suit and this face painting, for goodness sake. It's fun, but having a serious conversation.
Sure.
Yeah, so that's kind of what I feel, and we've had so many people that have attended. It's been a great experience, great event. So, and we'll continue to be blessed by what we've experienced. So.
Yeah, great. So you've raised a lot of money over the last few years. How much would you say you've raised for mental health?
We raised, I probably could have done more, but we've raised, in the first 3 years, we raised probably about $30,000. So a lot, the cost of the gala is just, it's like a wedding, mate.
Sure.
And we had very small sort of sponsorship. And then last year we became our own foundation. So now we now fundraise for ourselves, which then
registered charity. Is that right?
Yes, we are a DGR2.
Yep.
And which means that people can make donations and receive their tax deductible receipt, which is what was always the plan. And we've got a 12-month plan for next year.
Yep.
So we've got a lot of things on, and really, we're doing it again in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
2 weeks from the recording tonight.
Yep.
And we're basically having a couple of different people returning back.
Great.
I've got Christian O'Connell from Gold 104.3 coming.
Cool.
Yeah, I've got a friend of mine, Duncan Kerr, who's from the Steve Waugh Foundation.
Yep.
He'll be returning as MC, which I'm really excited to have him back. He was part of my original thing the first couple of years.
Yep.
We've got a footballer called Mark Eustace, who's really from about, when mental health and footy would have been taboo at the time, yeah?
Right.
From the 80s. So we're very excited to hear what he's going to say. And then I've got a friend of mine, Dr. Jim Karagianis, who's going to speak about honour, and that's really at the core of what the event's about, which is the remembering the males that have passed. We've all got someone that we know. And then the second part of that is, really embracing the side-by-side, the men and women side-by-side around men's mental health, but really in the plight of each other's deeper conversations. So it's really bringing it together.
Yeah.
Not singling it out, but acknowledging that the male statistics are a little bit crazier.
Yeah.
And also making a little bit of mention about the children too. We keep forgetting there's kids that are, especially with mental health and suicide, children are left, I don't know what the right term is, but are left behind maybe.
Yeah, well, that's right.
And having to live without fathers, and in some cases mothers. So it's like, we want to just acknowledge the space,
Jim, from being a virtual event and then to going to online, how does the experience go, like being online as opposed to being at the actual gala? I know from my experience, I went to the second one, I think it was, or the third one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Second one.
Yeah, second one. And from my experience, it was fantastic. I really enjoyed the night. The night was had a great atmosphere. It's just a great night of fun, basically, and raising awareness and great speakers, really positive, motivational speakers. There were some fantastic people that actually spoke that night.
Yeah, and I didn't mention I've also got I've got Russell Evans who will be speaking this year as well,
Oh, right.
which I'm really excited about that.
Evans, yes.
Yes, and you know, you
I've
obviously
known
know who
about him
Russell
for many
is.
years. I've never met the great man, but I've known about him for many years. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've had many. He's an amazing human being.
He's the pastor for
Um,
the Shakers. Is that right?
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And he serves his community with incredible heart space.
Great.
That's how I see him. Yeah,
Great.
and he's yeah, his beautiful daughter is making some candles for us as well. So it's very special.
Yep.
And yeah, met her as well. And but yeah, what we're doing online this year, because it's not the same as in person, we've got this big blue box that everybody purchases, $59, and that box, you come and pick it up from my clinic.
Yep.
And then we unbox it during the night.
Great.
There's 5 gifts in there, and we call them the 5 gifts of human connection. And I'm kind of going back on the first 5 years.
Okay.
Now, without revealing the gifts will represent 5 like themes.
Yep.
So the first theme is around gratitude.
Yep.
And really being blessed and thankful for what we have.
Yeah.
For the really about the people that have attended the events. So it'll be about 1,000 people when we put it all together over the last 5 events. It's a lot, for a small organisation that we are. There'll be a theme around courage.
Yep.
And just what that means, expressing.
Yeah.
Because that's the struggle, I think, with the men's mental health space.
Yeah.
There'll be a theme around music. Music is the glue that really inspired me to create the event because of the passing of Cornell and Bennington, and then obviously doing it around Michael Hutchins' anniversary. There's a theme around honor, like I said beforehand. And then there's a theme about generosity, about giving back. Yeah. And giving back doesn't only have to be, making a financial donation,
right?
But it can also mean, being kind to people. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
It's not that hard to open the door for somebody or just respect someone. I guess we grew up in a different generation, and I know the new generation people are a little bit different, but just being more, I guess, with generosity is just, giving back.
Yeah.
Give back to the community because you've been blessed with receiving from the world and God and humanity. So it's like, and I think it's good to be able to give back. So,
that's great, Jim. That's awesome.
So they're the 5 things we go through together. You don't just open the box.
Sure.
We go through it during the night. So I strongly encourage anyone, you, Pete, anyone who wants to come along, to come and experience this unboxing of the 5 gifts. So
yeah, I've seen all the photos around Melbourne. They look really great. What you've put up on Facebook and social media there.
Yeah, thanks, Pete.
Fantastic, really great. Just to see, that you had the feet in front and sitting there on the. I think there's one on the foreshore at night. Is that correct?
No, that's actually in Docklands.
Oh, Docklands. All right, okay.
That's in Docklands, yeah. And you've got the Balti Bridge in the background.
You had the one in St Kilda.
I've done one St Kilda, Luna Park.
Yeah, across the road from the Lego house.
Yes. Yeah, you saw that one, yeah. I was like, because people make jokes of that, and I thought sometimes things don't stack up. I just had a bit of a laugh at that.
Very good.
Thanks, yes. I was trying to reproduce it through the boxes. I thought, this will be a good one to do. So, yeah, it's just trying to create some awareness. And I know people are zoomed out. I understand.
Yeah.
But it's my calling.
Sure, absolutely.
So it's not about me, Pete. It's about the community and making sure that I do what I need to do to serve the community.
Yeah. And
keep connected with people and let people know that we're out here. If anybody needs support, any love, I reach out and let us in any way guide you in the right direction. So yeah, that's kind of, they're important things that we're doing at the moment. Yeah.
Fantastic. That is really, really good to hear what you're doing, Jim. And look, if anybody wants to get involved, how can people get involved? How can they get in contact with you, Jim?
Well, they can go to the website, imjustaman.com.au. They can call me, which is 0406 730 911. If you go to Eventbrite, you can go and buy your tickets direct from there. They're $59. It's in 2 weeks' time. I think we've sold about 60 boxes so far, which is we're kind of stoked for how challenged this time of the year really is this time around.
Yeah.
Because people are, like I said, cooked in some ways.
Yeah.
And, you know, come for a night of connection, come for a night of just really open heart and meet some incredible people online. And let's do something as we share the 5 gifts, you know. So
It's great. Thank you, Jim. Well, thanks for joining me tonight.
my pleasure.
Jim and I are going to play a song that Jim wrote or rewrote, which is Diamonds and Rust. And this is also the story of Jim, basically, how he began his journey of singing and being a performer. And it's one thing I can say about you, Jim. You know, when you came to my studio here and we jammed, you'd come with such great ideas. You know, your passion is just incredible. You know, to see someone who really is passionate about and you'd have these wonderful visions, you know, of what you're wanting to do as far as mental health was concerned, and you just always thinking, always expanding, you know. So it's great to know someone like you.
Thanks, Pete.
Great mind.
And I've always said this to you, Pete, and I say it to anyone that I've been involved with: you can't do it on your own.
No, that's great. That's
I always say that, you know. It's I like to remain, as much as, you know, I enjoy some of the limelight, I'll call it that. I prefer the humbleness of what it represents.
Yeah.
Even being on stage, and, you know, I call it my pseudo, you know, frontman rock star stuff, but it's got to have meaning to it. It can't be just show off, you know. It's meaningful, and that's the part that I've enjoyed the most, really. That, you know, it was like when I looked, that was probably one of the things that struck me the most. You've got, when I think of, let's say, Michael Hutchence and Chris Cornell and Chester Bennington, they had these gifts, like, you know, got, you know, their own gifts from God, and it's like, why are you wasting the gift? That was how I perceived it. Yeah. But I also want to acknowledge that, you know, when you're in a dark place, it's difficult to see the light. Yeah. You know. Yeah. And I don't want to sit here and be judgmental of that. Other than we sadly miss these people. We sadly miss the millions of males globally, the billions of males that have passed from suicide or mental health. Yeah, and females. And we also, you know, have empathy towards and love and connection to the partners, men and women partners out there who've had the challenges and the children left behind. So it's important to have that kind of, you know, kindness and empathy towards the experiences. Yeah, so. Yeah. Well, Jim, that is awesome. Keep doing what you're doing, mate. You're doing it. Thanks, mate. And all power to you, mate. You know, God bless you. And you too, brother. Thanks for joining me tonight. And without further ado, here is Diamonds and Rust.
On the 24th of November 2014, I woke up to a phone call from my brother that my home and clinic was on fire, a 15-year dream up in flames. I faced incredible financial stress and emotional pain and even suicide thoughts the next day. I was catapulted to singing, which became my saving grace, and performing for the first time live as a frontman in Los Angeles with Paul Stanley on rhythm. When Chris and Chester suicided, it inspired me to raise awareness with men's mental health.
I'll be damned, here comes your ghost again. But that's not unusual, it's just 20 years have gone, and you decided to grow. And here I sit, and on the telephone, watching the voice I know. You're late and your mates are alone, headed straight for a fall. But we both know what memories can bring. They bring diamonds and rust. Ooh, yeah, we both know what memories can bring. They bring diamonds and rust. Now I see you walking around, bright leaves everywhere, and you're staring at the Ritz Hotel over serene Double Bay. Your last words, look at the mess, now linger in the air. Speaking strictly for me, we all have died. Then and there, yeah. You're telling me you're not nostalgic? Then give me another word for it. You were so good with words and keeping things vague. Why need some of the big list now? Tigers growing up, I'm too there. I miss you dearly. But if you're offering me diamonds and rust, then I've already paid. Diamonds, diamonds and rust. Diamonds, diamonds and rust. Diamonds, diamonds and rust. I don't want no more diamonds. Diamonds and rust.